Welcome to Buff's Garage. We finally get this truck back on the road. Welcome to Buff's Garage. We finally get this truck back on the road. Our 200,000 mile Avalanche need a little work in the back. We fixed the brakes, fixed those U-joints. So join me as we went through the last steps to get this vehicle prepared to go back out on the road. In our very messy garage, we have our 1982 Pontiac Trans Am. We also have our 2004 Chevrolet Avalanche. This is the non-clad edition. I've got it in for some rear end work and new brakes.
Create a car to conquer the wind. A car that lets you slip off the commonplace and experience driving excitement as never before. The Pontiac Firebird Trans Am. Sit here and learn firsthand how Firebird conquers the wind and the world. Pontiac, we build excitement.
A lot of heat later. A lot of heat. So here's our problem. Brake caliper is not doing what it needs to do, and mainly because it needs to be bled. But as you can see in the video, the bleeders are seized. So we have to order a new caliper, and once that arrives, we'll get that in there and replace it. All right, it's new caliper time. Let's just double check it. Yep, that bleeder should be better than the one we've got. All right, well, we're going to get this installed and get this truck back on the road. The time has finally come. Finally got the Avalanche out of the garage. Now it's time to clean it up. Well, after 2.5 years in the garage, we got this thing out, cleaned up, ready to go back on the road. It's warm in the shop. One last thing we want to do before we kick this Avalanche completely out, we want to freshen up these rims. So I'm going to show you a quick way to get that 10, 20, maybe even 50 footer refresh on your rims. So one of the things I like to do is I'll actually take the rim off and I'll work with a flap disc or a small sanding disc and try to polish these edges out a little bit, smooth them down. In this case, we have a lot of clear coat that has begun to peel. We have a brake that had hung up and of course caused some rust on the aluminum. This is just metal from the brake that's embedded into the clear coat and has now started to rust on the rim. The rims themselves are aluminum. They're polished aluminum that have been clear coated. And again, I'm telling you, the clear coat has seen better days. So we're gonna go ahead and hit it with some sandpaper, smooth this out. You can actually smooth this lip out too, or you can take it into a wheel refinisher and they can fix that for you. We're just gonna do the old 50 footer. So I'm gonna hit it with the sandpaper, smooth all this back out, and then we'll get to painting. So today's flavor, it's going to be this Duplicolor high performance wheel coating. It's just basically a paint for redoing your rims. And we're going to top it off with a clear coat. Now you don't need to top it off with a clear coat, but it will help protect the rims and it adds a little bit more shine than the factory paint does. We went with the graphite color. According to the instructions, you're going to want to lightly sand your surface, at least with 600 grit sandpaper, wet or dry. You want it to be really, really clean. All of the finish is going to turn out in the prep work. All right, and then you're going to want to make sure that you're shooting your paint at around 60 to 95 degrees Fahrenheit. Anywhere less than that, it takes a lot longer for it to dry and cure. Anything over that, and it just basically evaporates while you're putting it on. So make sure your temperature is between 60 and 95 degrees. You want to have your humidity less than 60 or 70%. And for my region, that's actually difficult, but we do our best. Main thing with this is as you're shooting it, you're going to want to do 2 light tack coats and then follow it up with a medium to heavy coat. And those need about 10 minutes of time in between each coat. And if you decide later you want to touch this up, let's see. All right, so you can apply coats every 10 minutes up to an hour. And if you want to try to apply more coats after an hour, you actually have to wait 7 days for the paint to fully cure. But if you do 3 coats of the color within the hour, you can still do multiple coats of the clear Just once it already starts drying past an hour, you need to wait 7 days before you do anything else. Thanks for watching Buff's Garage. We'll see you next time.